So, modernized pre-trip. First, we're going to get into the truck using 3 points of contact. Then we are going to start the engine. We're going to make sure that the ABS light, DPF, and DEF light come on and then turn off when we're starting it. Then we're going to build up our air pressure until we get to our air governor to cut off between 120 and 140 psi. And then once it cuts off, then we're going to put it in first gear, turn the truck off, turn the truck back on, and then we are going to charge the brakes and let them stabilize. And while they're stabilizing, we're going to listen for leaks. Now that they're stabilized, we're going to press and we're going to hold the brake pedal for 1 minute, and we should lose no more than 4 psi. We'll ask the tester to time us, so will you please time us? Then he will let you know that it's been a minute, and you can release the brake pedal, and we did not lose more than 4 psi in that minute, so that's good. So now we're going to milk the air pressure down, and our warning alarm and buzzer should come on before it gets below 55 psi. So our warning light and buzzer came on before we got to 55 psi, so that's working. Now we're going to milk the system down to somewhere between 20 and 45 psi. Our emergency brakes should activate and the button should pop out. And both buttons popped out before it got below 20 and under 45, so it was between 20 and 45 psi, and they are both working. So now we will restart the truck and rebuild our air pressure. Put it back into neutral and start the truck. So now that our air pressure is built back up between 120 and 140, we're gonna check our parking brakes. First, we're going to release the tractor brake, and we are going to test the trailer. And we're gonna put it in first gear, and we're gonna give it a little pull, and you should feel its tug against it, and then it works. So now we're going to set the parking brake, release the trailer brake, and we're gonna test the parking brake on the tractor. We'll give it a little pull and you'll feel it pull again, and it works. So now we're going to release the parking brake on both of them, and we're going to check our service brake. We're going to get up to 5 miles an hour. Then we're going to press the clutch and hold the brake at the same time, and we're going to release the handle on both sides like this, and it shouldn't pull left or right, which would indicate a bad brake component, and it should stop us. I'm not going to do this part because I'm holding the camera at the same time, but we'll go up to 5 miles an hour, hit the brake, stop it, and make sure that it doesn't pull left or right. Once we've done that, we can set the brake, and then we can move on and check our lighting indicators. We've already checked that our ABS light, DEF, and DPF light came on when we first started the truck. So now we'll make sure that the right turn signal indicator works, left turn signal indicator works, our high beam indicator works, and then we'll make sure that the four-way indicators work. And all those indicators are working. So next, we're gonna check our emergency equipment. I've got 3 triangles in the box. There's a fire extinguisher there that's a minimum of a 10 BC. It's fully charged because the needle is in the green position. There's spare fuses that should be either in the door pocket or in the cup holder. We're going to check our permit book and make sure that we have our license and registration. And then we're going to pull out our seat belt, make sure that there's no frays or tears. Click it in, click it out, click it back in, and make sure that it latches. And it does. And then at this point, you'd ask the tester to test his, check and see if his seatbelt works as well. Then we are going to check our windshield and traffic monitoring devices. So we're going to make sure that our windshield is properly mounted secure, it's not cracked, broken, or loose, and there's no illegal stickers. Then we're going to check our traffic monitoring devices, which in this case are mirrors, and they are both working, properly mounted secure, they're not cracked, they're not broken, and they're not loose, and they are adjusted to me. Then I'm going to check my windshield washer, wipers, and washer fluid. We're going to push that on. It's spraying fluid, so the spray works. The windshield wipers are probably mounted secure, they're not cracked, broken, or loose, and the blades are probably mounted secure with no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. Now I'm going to check my heater and defrost, so I'm going to put that to the heat and defrost position and then turn the fan on, and then I'm going to check on top, make sure that the defrost is working and the heat is working, and they are both working. And then I'm going to check my city horn and my country horn, and they are both working. Next, I'm going to ask the instructor or the tester to get out and check all my external lights. I'm going to start with the front and have him check my headlights, both my low beam and my high beam. I'm going to have him check my left turn signal, my right turn signal, my four ways, and then my marker lights up top. Then I'm going to have him go to the left side of the truck, have him check my left blinker and my left marker lights. Then I'm going to have him go to the rear of the truck and have him check my tail lights, my brake lights, my left turn signal, my right turn signal, my four ways, and my marker lights back there. Then I'm going to have him go to the right side of the vehicle and check my right turn signal and my right marker lights. Once we've done this, we can now get out of the truck and check the outside of the part of this pre-trip. At this point, you can turn the truck off. Now on the outside, first we're going to start in front of the truck, and we're going to look and we're going to make sure that all of our lights, lenses, reflectors, and DOT tape are all properly mounted secured. They're not cracked, broken, or loose. They are the proper color. Then we're going to check underneath and make sure that we do not see any visual leaks. Then we can go under and check on the passenger side under the hood next. Coming to the passenger side, first we're going to check all of our hoses and wires and make sure that we do not see any abrasions, bulges, or cuts, and they're all properly mounted and secured. We're going to listen for any audible air leaks, and we're going to look for any visual fluid leaks. Then we're going to check our windshield washer reservoir, make sure that it's properly mounted secured, it's not cracked, broken, or loose, it's not leaking, and it's at the proper operating level. And then that is all on this side, so now we'll move to the driver's side. Coming to the driver's side, we're going to once again start with all of our hoses and wires and making sure that they're properly mounted and secured with no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. We don't hear any audible air leaks or see any visual fluid leaks. Then we're going to check our fluid levels, and our coolant reservoir is properly mounted secured with no abrasions, or not cracked, broken, or loose. It's not leaking, and it's at the proper operating level. Then we're going to check our oil level. We'd pull the dipstick out, wipe it off, put it back in, pull it out again. If we needed to add any, we'd add it in the yellow cap up there. Then we're going to check our power steering fluid reservoir, make sure that it's properly mounted secure, not cracked, broken, or loose. It's not leaking, and it is at the proper operating level. Then we're going to check our power steering hose, make sure that it's properly mounted secure with no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. And it's not leaking. Then we're going to check our steering shaft right here and make sure that it's properly mounted secured, it's not cracked, broken, or loose, and there's no more than 10 degrees of play on it. Then we're going to check our power steering U-joints, make sure that they're properly mounted secured, not cracked, broken, or loose. Our steering gearbox is properly mounted secured, not cracked, broken, or loose. Our three-piece steering sector right here is properly mounted secured, it's not cracked, broken, or loose, and it is secured with castle nuts and cotter keys. Then we're going to check our suspension, and our leaf spring hanger, both the front and the rear one, are properly mounted secure, not cracked, broken, or loose. Our U-bolts are properly mounted secure, not cracked, broken, or loose. And then our shock is properly mounted secured, and it's not cracked, broken, or loose, and it's not leaking. Then we're going to check our airline and ABS wire, make sure that they're properly mounted secure with no abrasions, bulges, or cuts, and you can't hear any leaks. Then we're going to look around the back and check our brake drum and brake shoe, make sure that they're properly mounted secure, not cracked, broken, or loose, and there's no foreign debris or contaminant. Then we're going to come to the sidewalls of our tire, both the inside and outside, and make sure that there's no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. Then we're going to check our tread, make sure that there's no abrasions, bulges, or cuts, or foreign debris. Make sure that there's at least 4/32 of tread, which we would check with the tread depth gauge. We'd also check our drive tires and our trailer tires to make sure that they have 2/32 worth of tread. Then our tires should be at approximately 100 psi, which we would check through the valve stem with a tire air pressure gauge, and that stem should have a cap. We're going to check our rims to make sure that they're properly mounted, secured, not cracked, broken, or loose, and there's no illegal welds. We're going to check our lug nuts, make sure that they're properly mounted, secure, they're not cracked, broken, or loose, and loose would be indicated by running rust or shiny metal. So now we can go to the side of the truck, and we're going to check all of our lights, lenses, reflectors, and DOT tape, and make sure that they're properly mounted, secured, no abrasions, bulges, or cuts, or cracked, damaged, or loose, and they are all the proper color. Then we're going to check our traffic monitoring devices, which are our mirrors, and make sure that they're properly mounted, secured, not cracked, broken, or loose. Then we're going to come down and we're going to check our battery, which in this case is underneath the catwalk, and we're going to make sure that they're properly mounted, secured, not cracked, broken, or loose. They're not leaking. All the connections have no corrosion, and there's no cut or frayed wires. And then we're going to check our def tank and fuel tank, making sure that they're properly mounted, secured, not cracked, broken, or loose. They're not leaking underneath. The fuel tank is held on by 2 straps with rubber protect insulators, and the fuel cap has a safety chain. Then we're going to check the frame and make sure that it's properly mounted, secured, it's not cracked, broken, or loose, and there's no illegal welds. Now, because it's a combination vehicle, we're going to check all of our hoses and wires and make sure that there's no abrasions, bulges, or cuts, and there's no audible air leaks. Then we're going to check our connectors and our glad hands on both sides and make sure that they're properly mounted, secured, not cracked, not broken, and not loose. And then we're going to come down and we're going to check our apron, which is on the top. Make sure it's properly mounted, secure, not cracked, broken, or loose. Our skid plate, make sure that it's properly mounted, secure, not cracked, broken, or loose. That there's properly greased and there's no gap between the two. We're going to make sure our release handle is in the locked position. Then we're going to come around to the back side and we're going to check our kingpin and make sure that it's properly mounted, secure, not cracked, broken, or loose, and that the locking jaws are properly mounted, secure, not cracked, broken, or loose, and are in the locked position. Then we're going to come out here and we're going to make sure that there is adequate space or clearance between the landing gear and the back of the truck, so that way it can make turns. And we're also going to check our landing gear and make sure that it is properly mounted, secured, not cracked, broken, or loose. The dollies are in the up position and the handle is stowed. Then we're going to step back again and once again check all of our lights, lenses, reflectors, and DOT tape and make sure that they're all properly mounted, secure, not cracked, broken, or loose, and they are the proper color. Then we'll go to the back of the trailer and once again we're going to check all of our lights, lenses, and reflectors and DOT tape and make sure that they're properly mounted, secured, not cracked, broken, or loose, and they are the proper color. And then we would check the passenger side of this vehicle the same way that we just checked the other side. And then that would conclude my pre-trip inspection.